Let's go. Hello and welcome to another round of Dark Helmet Racing League action. My name is Morgan here at the Cleveland Beamer Sim Sports channel, and we are live for round 8 of the GTD challenge here at Watkins Glen. Should be a good race. We have a two heat format. There'll be a 15-minute sprint race and a 40-minute feature. This will have standing starts for both events, so it should be good. Weather's going to be dry, and currently have a ton of cars on track, so should have some excellent action. There's, yeah, well over 20 cars on track. Right now, we are in the qualifying session, and everybody is on their first lap. Right now, Ryan Merriam lighting up the timing and scoring charts with purple sectors. So looking strong there. Gonna warn you for this broadcast, at some point I'm just going to walk away. I have a marketplace deal that is coming at some point during the broadcast, so unfortunately that's going to require me to walk away, but hopefully shouldn't impact things too much here. We shall see, though, what happens. Alright, let's get timing and scoring up right now and see what's what. Currently, Ricky Renner on top with 42.85. That said, here comes Ryan Merriam with all those purple sectors going about 0.4 faster with 42.4. Right now, it's definitely looking like a battle between Ricky and Ryan. Both are exchanging fastest sectors. Ooh, Thirsty Dog Christmas Ale is delicious. Alright, so got a lot of times coming in. Right now, we're seeing everything between 42s and 46s, which is about what we were expecting to see for this session. Let's see what else we have going on here. Rick Wishon, also in an Aston Martin, coming in P3 with 43.69. Currently, the top three are all Aston Martins. Aston Martin must be in danger of being slightly OP here at Watkins. I actually haven't looked to see that data yet, but given that I'm seeing the top three in Astons, must be a thing. Alright, so far looks like we have 18 times in, with another 7 or 8 more drivers needing to get times in. And we do have a swap to lead. Ricky Renner jumps into the #1 spot with 42.34. And had another shuffle back to Ryan Merriam that answers with a 42.03. Board getting shuffled up. Nathan Nickerson with a 43.28 coming in at P3. Brandon Dooley with 43.4 in P4. And Richard Hibbs in the BMW rounding it out with a P5 with a 43.6. Times are pretty close. We got about looks like 7 or 8 drivers in the 43s at the moment, but the times are falling. With another 3.5 minutes or so till we see the conclusion of qualifying. Right now, folks, got to be thinking about going to restart for one more lap with fresh tires or sticking with it. That cutoff coming up pretty quickly. Right now I'm seeing a lot of personal best coming in, but no new purple sectors except from Ryan. Let's check out Brandon Dooley, who's setting a bunch of personal bests here. Brandon Dooley crosses the line and improves to P3, sets a 43.02. Ryan Marion, though, not messing around, showing up and dropping 41s. Heck yeah, Ryan wants this championship and doing what he needs to do to earn it. That said, Ricky Renner not far behind with a 42.10. Gonna need to send it. I did some research here, folks, and looking at the stats from the 6,000 drivers that took part in the GT Sprint Series this week, it does appear that the Aston Martin was about 0.3 faster with average lap times. That does not mean that it is the outright fastest, but that does mean that the averages of people actually putting in laps show that it's pretty competitive. Even looking at the outliers there, it looks like Aston has an edge here. And Ricky and Ryan showing us why. It is definitely not all car, though. Ricky and Ryan are absolutely flying. Ricky nearly a second faster than P3, which is pretty incredible. So these guys right now on another level for this battle for the championship. Approaching a minute remaining here in the qualifying session. Nathan Nickerson jumps out on top of the last step of the podium. Nathan getting P3 with 42.96 in a exclusive club of drivers that are in the 42s or lower. Only about 3 drivers there. All right, and looks like we have 23 drivers with a time. Have another 2 drivers out there trying to get their times in for the session. And with about 30 seconds remaining, not much more can be done. Looks like Rick's bailing. Let's see what Bradley's doing. Bradley's done. Nathan's slowing down. Got about 10 seconds left. We got Patrick here going around the toe of the boot, but I don't think he is going to have enough time as the session is over. All right, well,
All right, here we go. Standing start. So green is on the iRacing green flag. Thanks again for coming out. 15-minute sprint, followed by a 5-minute warm-up, 40-minute feature. Good luck, have fun, don't die.
Wise words from Brandon Dooley. As we await everybody to approach the grid, let's get that info up on the screen. And let's see what's what. Okie dokie.
Good luck, everybody.
So about a minute for everybody else to grid.
Good luck.
Just waiting for...
May the odds, gents. May the odds.
everybody to show up here. Still waiting for the leader. And here's the leader. And away we go. All right, all right, all right. Going down to turn one. And a little trickiness going on. Ryan had a little trouble at the start. This is allowing Nathan and Ricky to get up front and battle it out. Ricky's getting the inside and should have the better run as we approach the carousel. Bus stop. I gotta get that right. And Nathan, or rather Ricky, is indeed going to take the lead through there. Nathan using all the track and then a little bit more. But so far, looks like everybody making it through the start except for maybe Rick Wishon. Ryan working on getting around Nathan Nickerson here. He definitely wants that lead back. Not going to happen this time by. Let's take a quick look, see what happened to Rick. And Rick just not able to get the car going off the line, gets tagged. Still have Nathan and Ryan going at it. And how about we get timing and scoring up? That'll certainly help. Alright, currently watching these guys. So far, everybody's staying pretty static, though. I do see James Scott getting a pass done. We're going to check that out in just a moment once we see what happens here in the bus stop. Side by side.
Sorry, boys, I just got blinded by race laps.
And Ryan getting it done. But not able to keep it on the track through the bus stop. I will be shocked if that doesn't result in a slowdown. While these guys work it out, let's see what happened here. And definitely had an incident there. Who that was. And there it is. Greg getting some help, getting turned around. Definitely not what we want to see. That will get reviewed. Meanwhile, Ryan somehow managed to retain that P2 position from Nathan and goes on a hunt now for Ricky Renner. I see Philip Scott tumbling down the order. Got a whole bunch of things going on right now. Alright, let's start with seeing what happened to Ryan Frey. Ryan in the BMW just getting a little unsettled there in the rear end and getting looped around. Has company sitting right next to him. Ooh, that is not great. Yeah, you got to get going there. I hear another car coming. Oof. That is not what we want to see. At some point, you got to either loop it around or you need to tow. Definitely something to think about. Let's see what happened to Patrick. What's the beginning of Patrick's woes here? There's Patrick. Patrick doing basically the exact same thing. You know, tough to do at the beginning of the race. Cold tires. Two cars doing it in the same spot. You think somebody dropped oil, but that is definitely not the case. Back on with live action, and Ryan Merriam starting to pull away. Let's take a little further back. Got Brandon Dooley in P4 with Mitch right behind by about a half second, and see battles starting to happen all over the place. So we have the Brandon Dooley, Nathan Nickerson, Mitch Bowen battle, and then if we go back a little further, we have Philip Scott with looks like that is Christian Ortiz about a second ahead. Then we go back a little further. Thomas Guy is leading a whole train of cars with Brandon Powell, Caesar Torres, Rick Murdoch, all following behind. Nice little train here. And then going a little further back, Rob Dubs being traced by Michael Picone. Mark Sherman being run down by Jeff Wyatt. He also has Michael Chaplin right behind. Yeah, battles everywhere. Gonna do my best not to miss anything. Speaking of not missing anything, looks like Ryan Frey is gonna get by James Scott. It's good stuff. And have some really close gaps. This being definitely one of them. And up front, Brandon Powell in the 831 Porsche has Caesar super close. He was about a 10th when I switched to him. The gaps opened up a little bit. Caesar thinking about taking a look, but not that time. Take a look here. Caesar getting close to side by side, but not quite. Brandon hanging it out with a little more speed. Holding the inside here, but this is going to compromise his run a little bit. He gave space, which he should be doing, but this is going to allow Caesar to get right next to him. Going down in turn one, who's going to be brave on the brakes? That's going to be Caesar this time. Has a pretty decent exit, but you know what? So did Brandon Powell. And now it's a drag race. Depending on setups, if they have similar amounts of aero, Brandon should get a nice run here, and he does, but he takes the conservative route, backs out of it. Has a little bit of a blinky blink moment there, but that is okay. Still moving right along. Ooh, Michael getting right up to Jeff Wyatt in the McLaren. Thought about making a move, and indeed he is now side by side with Jeff. Aston Martin Power going to try to make the move around the outside. Currently not doing that at the moment. Practically pushing Jeff up the hill, now side by side again. Aston Martin getting excellent exits here out of the corner, and Michael will take the inside. And I think that will be job done, moving up to P17, up 6 positions from the start. Doing an excellent job. A little further behind, you have Josh Betts working on Todd Schwartz back there. Josh nursing some bodywork damage there, missing the front end, but still cruising right along. Todd doing a good job in the Porsche though, staying ahead, maximizing his exit. Here it's tricky. This is a track where you really need to work track limits. You don't want to get off tracks, but you want to make sure you are using all of the track through corner exit. Turn one rather being super critical. And then here in the bus stop, you really got to get up on those curbs and use them. These curbs will also help the car rotate and allow you to carry a lot more speed. Todd doing a good job utilizing all the track. Looking ahead of these guys, Michael got around Jeff, but Jeff is not letting him go, staying within a couple of tenths. Jeff like the real tight line through that corner. should get him a ton of rotation. Ooh, let's look behind. We have side by side. Josh Betts going for the move on the inside around Todd, and will get the job done up to P19. Josh trying to make up for early incidents, currently down 8 positions, and doing what he can to extract a result here out of the sprint and limit the damage. Looking ahead, we have Nathan Nickerson still in P3. P1 and 2 are checking out a little bit. And behind Nathan, we have the Acura of Brandon Dooley. Brandon doing a good job staying within a second and keeping Nathan honest. Brandon just waiting to pounce on any mistake that Nathan makes, but Nathan keeping things nice and cool and getting those lap times in to stay ahead. That's nice use of all the track right there. This is a weird turn. You got to be so patient, wait for the front end to come in, and then lay on the throttle when you feel like it's going to stick. Same thing with this corner. Good stuff. Ooh. We're going to take a look at Jeff Wyatt and Michael again, because Michael is ahead by a nose. Jeff getting that inside line again around there. And we have a drag race down the bottom of the boot. And Michael able to get ahead again. He really likes that exit there at the toe of the boot. Doing a good job to get back ahead into P17. Looking at Thomas Guy in P10. Still working on a whole train of cars here. Bradley Tidwell in the Lambo ahead of these guys, but this group of Porsches trying to determine who's going to be P10. Currently Thomas is holding it down. Cesar Torres right behind, trying to find a way around with Brandon Powell doing what he can to reel these guys back in. Thomas with an excellent sprint race so far, up 6 positions. Cesar, who is chasing him down, is up 14 positions from the start, having a heck of a sprint race. It's awesome watching these Porsches around here. They just, man, they look so fast and getting a pretty decent amount of rotation. These guys using a little bit of the grass off the curbing. That is okay. I think that's right on the limit, but that should not have been an off-track for either of these guys. Mitch Bowen up in P5. Looks like he had a little bit of an off-track. Let's see what happened there. Mitch also in a Porsche, being patient and just getting on the throttle a little bit too early, but manages that throttle so the car stays under control, and yeah, nothing crazy. Non-event. Love it. And we should be approaching the start-finish straight for the white flag. This will be the last lap. And indeed, there it is. So far, this is our closest battle. That's not to say we don't have close battles. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars within a second of each other. And Thomas Guy getting a bit of a breathing space here from Caesar. Actually starting to reel in Bradley a little bit. Ooh, uses all the curb. That was a massive jump. That actually saw Caesar also getting a little bit out of whack on the curbs. Had to back out a little bit to make sure he stayed under control. Last thing you want to do is throw it all away on the last lap. And these guys making the call to just back off a little bit, get things under control. That said, Thomas still reeling in Bradley. We'll keep an eye on these guys. Looking a little further ahead, Mitch currently has Rich Hibbs right behind him, trying to reel him in. But you know what? Looking at the front, Ricky Renner running a dominant sprint race, coming across the line to P1, Ryan Merriam, P2. Nathan now approaching the penultimate corner. He's going to finish P3 with Brandon Dooley behind in P4. Mitch managing to hold off Richard Hibbs, keeping that P5. And we're going to look at Thomas Guy, who manages to keep his P10. Bradley Tidwell finishing ahead in P9. And uh-oh.
Yeah, nice run.
Something happened to Caesar. Let's see if I can find it. Mitch went
Nice
off
race, Rick. Good
crack.
pace.
Rich went off crack. Does it say he entered the pit lane? Interesting. I think Caesar's having a lot of fun out there, wanting to go through the crowd. That, or he got a drive-through for some reason. But I am not aware of that happening. And we still have cars coming around. As I say that, looks like we got everybody crossing the line, and there we go. Now I have official results. We're going to get those displayed on screen for you, and that is going to do it. We're going to go into a 5-minute warm-up.
We'll be back for the 40-minute feature.
And as Brandon said, we'll be back soon. So sit back, relax, and we will be back for the feature momentarily.
This place is killing my frames per second.
Okay, that makes me feel better. It's not just me.
Paying attention to what they were at. Too focused
Coming
elsewhere.
Coming into the toe, I felt like I was driving a slideshow.
Thanks again for coming out. Good luck, have fun, don't die. Got one more GT3 event next weekend at Spa. It should go into darkness. And then the following week, the 14th, we'll have Rich's 3-hour event. Make sure to register and sign up for that. And also Tuesday will be the finale at Limit 5 at Summit Point, I believe. Check the calendars, check the announcements and things like that. Again, thanks for coming out. Good luck, have fun. Appreciate y'all.
Alright, and we are back. Just waiting for everybody to grid up. Got about 15 seconds. There they go. Huh, not even going to get to wait that long. And cruising down towards the front. Ricky maintaining his early lead. Nathan doing a good job there. Ryan's struggling maybe for these starts. We'll have to check that out. But Nathan, right on the bumper of Ricky. Wonder if he's going to get a tow or a push. Nope, he's just going to tuck in and keep it clean. I like it. Take a look at Ryan. Trying to get around Brandon Dooley, but misjudges it. And oh no, he has some damage. That is definitely not what we want to see. Alright, falling back. Now we do have fast repairs in this series, so he can dive into the pit, take his fast repair, but this is definitely untimely. That front end damage is seriously going to impact this race. Definitely something we don't want to see. Oh man, that is super unfortunate. And there is so much going on here. I'm not sure if I'm going to get the original incident. Whew. My goodness, there is just so much chaos. Hopefully he's going to be able to get back in the pit. Hopefully these guys realize that he's going to try to get in there. Yep, looks like they make it through okay. And my gosh, going 2x2 through turn 1. These guys taking the NASCAR line through there. That's some pretty crazy stuff. So far, though, I mean, mostly seem to be keeping it pretty clean here, though. Poor Jeff Wyatt blinking a little bit. Looks like Ryan has left the pits. Ooh, Porsche mowing some grass for us. And these guys are going to come around again. And continue to battle. This is pretty close, and so is Mitch Bowen ahead of these guys. Mitch Bowen going side by side. And trying to get the over-under here on Thomas. And Thomas still fighting back, not letting Mitch go. Mitch took a little bit more speed around that outside line, but he's got to give him a little bit of room, which is going to compromise his run, puts him way out there, but iRacing, I think, is going to let him get away with that. The question is he going to be able to get enough momentum to have a good exit here? I'm thinking not, just how tight he took that line. And Thomas Guy is going to be ahead by a nose going into turn 1 here. Stuff. I'm going to leave the camera on this battle. My marketplace deal is here. So I will be right back, folks. Hopefully this continues to be some battle as we go side by side here into the bus stop. Drivers doing the right thing, leaving enough room. Oh, this is awesome. I hate to walk away right now, but I will be back. Okay, we are back, and I see this was a good battle. Leave it on. These guys still side by side. I gotta tell you, though, there is at least 10, no, maybe...
Hey, Jeff, just a heads up, you're blinking.
15 drivers here that are all within half a second of each other. This is pretty incredible. Whoa, as the BMW in the background of Ryan Frey getting sent in turn 1. We will definitely pick that up in the replay. I want to make sure I just touch on all the things going on here, though. As as Mitch holds down the lead here through the bus stop. Thomas Guy getting a pretty good run. And this just keeps on going. Side by side here as we go through the heel of the boot. And there we go, a little bit of breathing space. And just look at this group of cars behind. And oh no, the Lamborghini goes spinning. And it looks like that was... Oh my god, who was that? Was that Bradley Tidwell? I think it was. Rob Dove side by side here with Rick Wishon.
Boxing.
And looks like he's carrying a little bit of damage, so he's going into the pit. Back up, we have Caesar in a battle here with Patrick. Looks like Caesar's got a bit of front end damage. Thomas Guy also in it with Mitch. Still, this is an epic battle here for 9th place. Going side by side in the bus stop again. These guys are becoming pros at this one. And Thomas going to come out on top. It's actually a battle for 8th, not 9th. We have a little bit of breathing space here. Let's see what's going on a little further behind. Ooh, and marketplace folks want my attention again. Got to go again. Alright, just like that, life doesn't stop for racing. Alright, let's see what's going on. We have Rick Murdoch being attacked here by Josh Betts. Thomas Guy and Rich Bowen still going at it ahead of these two. Rick Wishon behind, fighting Caesar. And it just keeps on going. Even up front we have battles. Nathan Nickerson being chased down by Brandon Dewey, who's being chased down by Rich Hibbs, rather. Looks like Rich Wishon, rather, just got passed by... Oh my gosh, I'm losing my mind, folks. Sorry, Caesar was just passed by Rick in the Aston Martin. I'm just bouncing all over the place, trying to get caught up, multitasking. Maybe a little too much, but you know what? It's a free broadcast, so you get what you get. Okay, I have Jeff Wyatt crashing here at some point. Let's see what that was about. And indeed, he definitely crashed. That's definitely a crash. Gets going again. Looks like the damage not too bad. Bradley Tidwell also had a moment. I think we caught that earlier. I believe he's going to lose the rear end here. Off throttle and just gets some help from the Porsche. Gets turned around, then when trying to recover, just unfortunately gets spun again by himself. Ryan Frey, let's see what happened to him in the BMW. Taking the defensive line and then, yeah, getting rear-ended by the other BMW in the turn one. We'll take another look at that, see what we can learn. That definitely unfortunate. When we take a look at BMWs, I believe that's Patrick's behind. And when we go into turns like that, is that movement happening in the brake zone? Yeah. That will definitely be reviewed. That's definitely in danger of movement in the brake zone. Not sure if that's going to be ruled that or not. I'm not here to litigate that. But it's awfully close to the braking zone. We're going to move on and see where people are at. Mitch still fighting Thomas. Mitch currently ahead in P8. This battle is definitely not over, though. And then Josh Betts is just towing along 5 more cars that all want that P10. Got a little bit of everybody here. 12 minutes into this session, and I can hardly keep up. There is so much action. Right now, nobody within passing distance, that is, except for Caesar, who was just passed by Jeff Wyatt in McLaren. Jeff able to get that thing going after contact with the wall. Looks like he's doing all right. Let's see. Looking pretty good going up the hill here. Looks like this is going to settle down a little bit, though. That is okay. Brandon Dooley, on the other hand, has Rich Hibbs within a couple of tenths. Looks like he's going to maintain that position. This also may be helping Nathan get a little bit more breathing space. And we're going to stay on board. Rich has a slight run. I don't think it's going to be enough, though. That Acura rather has pretty good power down the straights. That said, Rich pulling on the draft a little bit here, now down to 0.15, 1.4. Not going to be enough. Keep an eye on these guys, see if anything happens. I believe Michael Picone behind these two got around Rick Murdoch. Let's see if we can see that. Oh yeah, had a heck of a exit out of turn 1, and that's going to allow him to win the drag race up the hill. Good stuff. Chaplin going off track. Let's see what that's about. Is it Champlin? Ooh, gotta look into that one. That wasn't so bad when off track. Okay. We have Mark Sherman, Cookie Monster car, now working on Ryan Merriam. Ryan qualified way up front, but has had some issues. Looks like getting off the line. Currently, after going to the pits for some repairs, is at 17. I think that was Ryan Merriam getting around Mark Sherman, and now he's getting around Todd Swartz in his quest to limit the damage from the race start. Good stuff. Ryan back up front. Brandon Dooley still in P3 with Rich Hibbs in tow. With admins going at it here. Right now, Brandon running pretty darn good. Last lap was a 43.5. Pretty darn competitive. And rolled off Rich Hibbs. Behind these guys, Philip Scott in the Mustang. Quietly just working his way up 3 positions into P5. We have Christian Ortiz and Brandon Powell fighting over P6. Christian Ortiz currently ahead in the Porsche. Okay, getting distracted, but back with it now. These two be fighting, but Josh Betts is also fighting with Thomas Guy and Patrick Hamed rather, as well as Rick Wishon. Love it. All going through the bus stop. So much fun to watch. All just fighting their way through here. Pretty close battle, though. Let's see. Thomas Guy holding down that P8, currently up 2 positions. Josh Betts up 9. Just gotta bear with me, folks. Still juggling Facebook Marketplace shenanigans. Super close. We're gonna have anybody send it into the bus stop? Sort of. What an accordion. Jeez. Josh there went super deep in the braking, and oh man, Patrick with a hell of a save. How is that not caught by my software? I am so sorry. We're gonna have to back that up. You know, not the most professional way to do this, but that was crazy. These guys went through the bus stop. Patrick gets a little tag in the back and drifts through, just keeping it off the wall. That hell of a save. Excellent job. Gonna go back to live action here. Rob Dove has had a moment. And that moment was... big moment. Yeah, that's just not quite settled the car here before putting in too much input, but he gets it going. That's why we have fast repairs, folks. Even the professionals get it wrong, so no harm, no foul. A lot of passes going on. See, I see Rick Murdoch getting around Caesar. And then Caesar says he's going to get around Rick. Nice move. And then Bradley Tidwell says he's going to get around Mark Sherman. And that's because Mark's going into the pit. Makes sense to me. Looks like we had another change of position here. Michael in the Mercedes going quite wide through there is going to lose that position. Alright. Let's see what we can see. I guess going down through the order. Caesar and Rick still fighting to see who's going to get that P18. Looks like Philip Scott has gone into the pits. So it's going to shuffle my order a little bit more. Let's see what's going on with Brandon Dooley. Wonder if Rich is going to do anything cheeky, like pull an undercut. Or maybe he'll go for the overcut. Take a look at Rick. They're pretty close here. Thomas under threat. Rick likes that inside move. Still got a ton of overlap, and man, that Aston just with great traction coming out of the tail of the boot. And I think he's going to take it. Yes, he is. Getting a ton of more drivers through the pit lane. Rich going for the undercut. Currently, the rest of our top 5 staying out. Let's go back to Bradley Tidwell, currently working on Todd Schwartz. Bradley going into the pits. Let's see who else is fighting. Christian Torres definitely fighting with Brandon Powell. Porsche on Porsche action here. Currently P4 and P5. I do not believe either driver has pit. Yep, currently the top 8 has not gone into the pit lane yet. This just keeps going and going and going.
Number 20, box.
Now, what's going to be interesting here is when I look at the order, Ryan Merriam, currently in P9, has already pit, but likely wasn't able to get much of any fuel just because his incident was early on lap 1. So he is likely going to need to pit again. Ricky Renner.
Rich, I'm pitting.
Out front. Able to extract another lap out of this car. Looks like Rich going down the start-finish line. Currently P7, but top 4 right now are going to have to pit. And realistically, he is racing Brandon Dooley. So let's see where these guys shuffle. Right along. Is Brandon Dooley going to pit? We're going to find out. Nice exit there. Using all the curb. That's how you extract lap time here, folks. You got to use the whole track from apex to the end of the exit curve until iRacing says you are out of limits. And you know what? Brandon's going to pit. So let's hop aboard with Richard Hibbs, and we're going to see how close these guys end up after Brandon leaves the pits. Brandon should have a little bit of a leg up because he went a lap further. So that's one less lap of fuel that he should need to take. Rich, you saw going through there, use all the track and more. That is actually not an off track. That is part of the racing service because iRacing does not give you a penalty for using it. All right, Rich coming around here. Brandon Dooley moving down the pit road. And I think he is going to come out ahead of Richard. Richard's going to come out with far more speed. But I don't think he's, way in the background. I don't think he's going to be close enough to be a threat. Looks like the undercut, definitely not super powerful here. And Philip Scott thinking that he wants that P4. Not going to get it though. Rich, pretty tough guy to race against. But Philip's persistent. He's going to keep working on him. Looking pretty good here in this battle though, keeping it clean. Phil getting a lot more momentum out of that long right-hander. Able to get right up to the bumper here of Rich. Now side by side as we go through the toe of the boot. That Mustang just looking really planted. BMW not so much. Philip now side by side. He's going to get the inside here through the heel of the boot and will get the position. Rich not letting it go though. These two are going to go side by side again. This is a tough exit here just because you have a wall. And another critical turn where the car is going to want to understeer a little bit here. These guys giving each other plenty of room though. Another tough corner because we're going to have a wall here on exit. Rich is going to take it going right up to that wall. I cannot believe he didn't hit. Some good stuff. Some clinical work here, folks. Who else do we have battling? Well, we have these four. We're going to watch Phil here. I thought the Porsche behind Brandon Powell was going to go for a move, but that did not happen. So we're going to go up to Ryan Merriam, who is side by side with, I think that was Patrick. Patrick squeezing him a little bit, and Patrick ended up backing out. I think he's potentially accepting responsibility for running Ryan a little wide there. It's some great sportsmanship. Love to see it. See if we can get that replay. Yeah, Patrick saying, or Ryan saying he had enough and just went for it. I think Patrick decided not to fight it. Good stuff. All right, so as these guys continue to scrap, Rich Hibbs still working to keep Philip Scott behind him. Just gets so close to that wall. Should have about 8 minutes to go here, approximately. Ooh, and Philip's got a good run here. This is going to get interesting as we do the run up to the bus stop. Phil got to be super patient here. It's hard to pass. Now he's going to go for it. Thought more of it. Might have went a little too soon and had to back out. That's going to compromise his run into the bus stop, so he's just going to back off a little bit and reset. Little tricky. Ooh, as we see a Porsche sliding. Looks like he was able to keep it out of the wall. Nope, that's not what I want. This is what I want. see if we can see that. Yikes. Brandon holding on to it. Woo. It's a good save. Able to keep it in P7 and fight to get that position back. Man, it's good stuff. Philip Scott still working on Richard Hibbs. Not going to happen this time by. About 2.5 tenths behind Rich as we go to the run here through the penultimate corner. Rich has an excellent exit again. Getting all the way up to that wall. Looks very comfortable on the last corner. Let's take a look at the first turn. Rich using all the curbing, but Phil with that Mustang power still getting a run. Almost looks like he's going too soon again. He's using a little wider line now just to help avoid that situation of going too soon. I still think that's just too close, and I think the Porsche of Christian's looking to take advantage. And he gets through, made it super difficult on him. Let's see if we can get a better look at that pass. All right, so yeah, Phil just out of line and making it super difficult to carry that speed through the bus stop. And Christian, as a result, will inherit P5. That's definitely going to break up this battle, which I'm sure Rich Hibbs is not going to be upset by. So we'll let these guys duke it out for a couple more minutes and come back to them. Ooh, Greg Crouch now going for a pass here. Looks like he's going to get around Todd Schwartz. Nice clean run through the bus stop, staying on that power so the car stays planted. Good stuff. Mitch Bowen. Currently in P9. Has Ryan trying to get around him. Excellent battles today with the silver drivers. As Ryan Merriam gets around Mitch, and I think Mitch deciding not to fight that too hard. He's seen Ryan's pace. But Christian Torres, though, up front, working on Rich Hibbs, currently our highest placed silver driver. And ahead by a nose here. Going into the bus stop and just not in the right position to get that move done. Porsche really wants you to be on throttle going through there, or else the car will get unsettled. With this being a rear engine car, has a little different dynamics, and if the car is unsettled, he could be in for a ride because it might try to loop, which you definitely don't want. What he's going to need to do is try to get that inside line. Oh no, and something happened to Greg. Let's take a look at Greg. Greg going down into turn 1. Getting to that apex, excellent on throttle, and just, car gets unsettled, loses that rear end. I hate to see it. He's been having a decent run this race. Trying to get it turned around. Not the best positioning there, but gets it going. Going on there, so let's take a look at Christian, who's got Richard back in his sights, and he's going to have a pretty good run here up to the bus stop. Unlike Phil, he didn't get too close too soon, so he's going around the outside. Momentarily it looks like he's slower, but that outside speed, now that they're both going the same direction, should help, and he just not getting ahead. He's got to go for the inside. He's got to wait a little longer from the run out of turn 1 so we can get to that inside line. Richard with the BMW power is just able to hold him off. Let's see. Anybody else real close right now? Well, the answer there is yes. A lot of people are pretty close right now. Let's take a look at Ryan. About 7/10 behind Rick Wishon as he battles his way up front. Patrick, about 7/10 behind Rich, or Mitch rather. Michael, about half a second behind Josh. Rick Murdoch, about 8/10 behind Bradley. I think I saw a change of position there. Looks like it was Bradley Tidwell. What happened with the Lamborghini? Well, we're going to get a run on Rick. I don't know if he had a slowdown or what. But he's definitely taking a ginger pace there through the middle of the course here. Let's go up front. Rich Hibbs again seeing Christian get alongside, but just not enough. And now Phillips getting back up to these two. I think Christian's going to have maybe one more opportunity before Phil is right there, and this is likely going to be our white flag lap. I'm going to jump off Ricky Renner and see if I can verify that. Alright, Ricky coming around. Last set of turns here. Going to the start-finish straight, and what flag do I see? I see a checkered flag. No, that's going to do it. So we're going to go back here to Nathan, who's definitely going to take second. Brandon taking third, and we're going to watch these guys. Last couple of corners for Christian to send it. I just don't think he's close enough, though.
Great battle, guys. That was a lot of fun.
And Phillips said it
good race,
best. That was an excellent battle with these guys.
I survived.
Ryan Merriam able to finish
You
P9
did the Alonso defense.
after a rough start there. Patrick finishing P11 behind Mitch Bowen.
All right, there's my drop race.
And Rob recognizing the drops. That's why we have them. Mistakes happen.
Nice run,
Got
Nathan.
Bradley Tidwell coming across the line.
Nice win, Ricky.
P15.
Yeah, you too. It's hard to break away from you.
Michael coming across P17.
Great race, Christian.
And Mark Sherman in that Cookie Monster car, P18. Todd Schwartz
Good race, guys.
coming in at P19 in the Porsche. Looks like he's going to be our third highest place. Bronze car, trying to get those points in to solidify a win. He's definitely in the running.
Draft effect I felt in a GT3 in a long time.
Greg Prochnow coming across P20. And I think our results will now be finalized. Let's get them up on the board. And there we go. You can follow those for yourself.
I keep pooping the bed.
That is going to do it for us here at Dark Helmet Racing League for the Sunday GTD Challenge. Congrats everybody on the awesome race. Sorry I couldn't be here to talk our way through all the action. That's some personal stuff to get through, but I am loving what we're seeing here. Lots of competition throughout the grid. 25 cars on track, and that's a beautiful thing. So reminder for you, this is the final week to get entered for the raffle. For more details, check out the Discord, but entries close, I believe, 11:59 p.m. Eastern, December 5th. So if you are interested in getting in on that Cube Control CSX3, then be sure to check out the giveaway section of the Discord and get on entered. Looking at our schedule, Tuesday we should have the final race of the MX-5 Cup. We're going to be at Summit Point, and then we will be at it for the final race of the GTD Challenge Sunday at Spa. Until then, my name is Morgan from Cleveland Beamer Sim Sports. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we will catch you on Tuesday.